Karl Rove down there in Austin, Texas. Karl, good morning to you. Two things I want to get.
Morning.
He's getting attention for this, at least on the cable side. Here was the spot that ran in Florida about a week ago. Watch.
I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight, or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to choose, freedom from hate.
So that was a bit of that. Now in Texas, the ad reads the following: Our Creator endowed us with the right to life, yet children lose their right to life every year because of gun violence. In California, we work to save those lives. What do you think about that message, Karl?
I think it is absolutely, totally brilliant on the part of Governor Newsom. Think about this. He has raised $23 million for his reelection campaign. He spent $100,000 on ads in Florida. That you will see. We've just now had more viewers see the ad on this news program than will see the ad in Florida. And he spent $30,000 on newspaper ads in Texas. So he has spent less than 0.5% of what he's raised, and he's going to dominate the media for 2 weeks. What could be better for a potential presidential candidate than spend $130,000 and get 2 weeks of national identification as a fighting Democrat who's willing to take it to the Republicans? And in the meantime, probably several thousand people a week have left have left California for either Florida or Texas. California is going to continue to hemorrhage people because of liberal policies by Newsom, but he has got himself a great stunt to attract the attention of national Democrats and position himself for 2024.
Okay, as I said, I imagine the RNC's got hours and hours of tape from downtown San Francisco that don't look so great. In a word, you study this stuff. Do you think Gavin Newsom is running?
Oh, absolutely. Now, he says that he is not running. He wants Joe Biden to run, but that's the right thing for him to say now because everybody really knows Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party in 2024. And in the meantime, he Governor Newsom gets to look like a fighter. And I'm taking on those bad guys in Texas, and I'm taking on those bad guys in Florida. I'm standing up for California values, the values that have made it for the first. He is the first governor of the state of Florida since it became, of California, since it became a state in 1850 to preside over a state that is losing representation in Congress. Every 10 years since 1850, California has either gained or held its representation in Congress until this last reapportionment in which California lost seats in Congress because its population did not grow as fast as the rest of the country. That's a record to be proud of.
Here is a Democratic Congresswoman, Cori Bush, on a similar question. Watch.
Do you want to see Joe Biden?
I don't want to answer that question because we have not. That's not. Yeah, I don't want to answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, he's the president, and he has the right to run for a second term. Absolutely. But I don't want to. I don't want. I'd rather you not do that answer.
I mean, do the other squad members feel the same?
Don't you bet they do? Absolutely. I mean, there are 10 million ways to answer that question. That's his right, as she attempted to say, but she then undermined it by saying, I don't want to answer the question, meaning that wasn't my answer. She could have said, I'm focused on 2022. The president's got to make a decision after the election. There are plenty of things that she could say, but yes, the bottom line is people on the hard left of the Democratic Party are terribly disappointed that Joe Biden, not that he hasn't attempted to do what they wanted him to do, but that he has failed to get Build Back Better and the transformational economic and environmental programs that they're pushing.
I'd rather you not ask that question. I'm going to try that one of these times.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Karl. Nice to see you.
Yeah, we've seen how that works. Don't ask. Don't. All candidates, don't follow Cori Bush. Come up with a better answer.
Got it. Nice to see you, Karl. Talk soon. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.